What was the genesis of it? Like, what were the quick sort of bullet points for why you started it?
Well, we started when just a realization that there weren't awards for craft in documentary. Most of the awards were for issues, like best story about women in war zones. It was the kinds of things that were valid, but not like. It wasn't really about the things we were seeing when we were out on like the festival circuit, which is like people recognizing that it's an art form, that there's craft involved, and that we're working with a team of people, cinematographers, editors, graphic designers, composers, producers, and no one had ever had an award for those different crafts before, and it was a nice way to do something very different that was different than what existed currently, and I think that that's sort of why cinema has become very important to people, is that it's not just another award, it's a place where you can go with your team at the end of the year, and it's celebrating really all the different skills it takes to create these movies.
And in fact, like the actual practice of documentary, right? It's a community practice, both with the film itself, and then also we interact with each other a lot. We have this world of exchange that's a cinematic exchange, and I'm not just talking about friendship, I'm talking literally about art form. Like you see someone's majestic film, like any of our nominees, move us, they change the vocabulary of cinema, and we felt like we weren't seeing a representative list that really truly showed us like, oh, this is where we're going, or this is where we are.
I noticed that the very first awards you were embraced by the documentary community. How have you seen that love and that embracing expand in the last 6 years from both documentary community and the filmmaking community at large?
I think it's grown.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has a lot of different functions, right? Like, there's very few times in the year where we can come together and just celebrate the year, right? Like, you're at a festival, you're selling your film, you've got a lot of different things on your mind. It's maybe the first time you've shown it, the 8th time someone else has shown their film, and here it's the end of a year, and we come together in New York to have a moment to say, this is our year, and these crazy things happen, like in the year that Ross McElwee got the Legacy Award.
Yeah.
Barbara Koppel did the introduction, and she's like, "We've never met," right? And we're like, "Holy moly!" Like,
how could you never have met one?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
But Cinema Eye is also this way to bring generations together, or even people from the same world that we would think would know each other but don't.
Right.
And have you? Is this your first time at AFI Fest?
Yes.
Why did you just sort of pick it out of a hat, or are you going to move it around from year to year? Or, why?
No, I mean there's a lot of great reasons to do things in Los Angeles. In addition to it being my hometown, it's great. It's great to engage what I call like the secret documentary community in Los Angeles.
Right.
It's like we don't always get together in the way that people in New York or San Francisco do, but there's a lot of amazing documentary filmmakers who live and work here in Los Angeles, and it's a great opportunity to acknowledge those folks, and a lot of them are previous and current nominees, and to be able to start doing things here in Los Angeles and expand, where Cinema has some of its functions and activities and ways in which we can engage like a larger piece of the documentary community.
Which leads me to my final question.
Yes.
What do you have visions for the future, expanding, changing, some new initiatives you might be doing?
We change every year. No, I'm serious. Like, even this year we changed. I mean, we look at this every year and say, how can this be better? How can this better reflect the amazing work we're seeing? How can it better reflect the passions and the interests? And also, how do we make this feel like when the list comes out, people can say, that represents something that I see and I believe in, right? And I think we see a lot of awards programs where people see the list and they're like, what? That's it? And I think but we don't rest there. You gotta keep hitting it. And AJ is amazing at it. Like, he'll call me up and be like, I got this crazy idea. And at first I'm always like, oh. And then I'm always like, no way, it's awesome.
Yeah, I think we're just, we're trying to rethink things every year and think, how can we do things differently? How can we, to us, I always feel like that Cinema and our various activities that are sort of outside of our own filmmaking, and sometimes our filmmaking as well, for us, it's like a constant wrestling with the documentary form. And so every year we approach Cinema, it's like, how can we wrestle different?
Yeah.
How do we approach this thing from a different angle? And that's really what it's about, is to constantly think about, who do we want to be this year? Where do we want to go? And if we continue to get the kind of support that we've gotten from the community, I think Cinema will continue to grow into being an organization where we can not only give awards to these films, but also help these films be seen by more and more people.